Hello, and welcome to Real Talk with Rachel. Today I'm examining the challenge of writing autistic women in stories and living that story yourself. As an autistic woman, many of my female characters are also autistic. Even if they're not explicitly identified as such, it's only inevitable. You write what you know, right? And this is what I know. But they're difficult characters, especially when they're women. There's a whole host of reasons this is so, but one of the largest reasons is because women are given a script for who to be and how to act in the world. Autistic women have a hard time with those rules. We're supposed to be likable, and oftentimes we're not. Why? Here are some reasons I've identified over my years as living and writing the story of an autistic woman. Number one, autistic women can come across as boring and inflexible. They like routine and ritual. I don't like spontaneity. I like to know plans ahead of time, in as much detail as possible. Many of my characters are the same. Surprises provide a source of conflict for them. As such, they can seem like really boring characters, or they can seem like combative characters, because they rebel against those changes in spontaneity. They have a meltdown when things don't go their way. I'm not talking about a crying, tantrum sort of meltdown. I shut down. That's my meltdown. I get very quiet, and no one can get a word out of me. Or I cry silently, or have a panic attack, or feel generally itchy and hot. Women are supposed to be flexible. We're supposed to see to the needs of others before we demand our own are seen. We're not supposed to have set in stone schedules because other people need us. But I am not very flexible. I go to bed at the same time every night and wake up at the same time every morning. And if one of my kids interrupts that sleep, I can't help but feel a little annoyed, no matter the reason for the interruption. Of course, I get over it, but that initial annoyance is almost always there. Routine and ritual are often a bid for control over the uncontrollable, and characters who need this kind of control are often misunderstood. Which is understandable, since control is what villains want too. But we're not villains. We're just a different kind of person trying to make it in the world. Number two, autistic women are blunt and honest. They say what they think, which can make them come across as blunt. Prickly. I was once called an aggressive feminist during a Facebook discussion. Not because I'm actually aggressive, although I do practice kickboxing so I can be if necessary, but because my communication can sometimes come across that way, especially in friendly Facebook debates. I can't really help it. I don't like wasting words. I don't like talking in circles. I don't like padding a conversation with fake niceties. I don't like being fake. Don't worry, I have learned my lesson. Don't try to set people straight online or anywhere. But this is inherently another problem. Autistic women like to set people straight. We don't like misinformation. No one wants to be set straight. I've had to learn that the hard way. Autistic women don't waste words. They get right to the point. As I've grown into adulthood, I've learned that some people need a little softening before the bluntness. And we do that in social situations, but not in our heads. So writing those characters, being in their heads, you get a really candid look at what's going on there. I imagine that for those of us whose brain works this way, it can be somewhat of a relief to see it spelled out on the page like that. For others, it might be a bit jarring. In one of my more recent stories, some of the feedback I got was that the character needed a bit of softening up. That's the bluntness coming out. The need to not waste words. The honesty. She was not a typical soothe the feelings kind of person. In another project, a friend highlighted something my 12-year-old main character said to another character and wrote, "If a friend said this to me, she wouldn't be a friend anymore." Exactly. That's a young autistic woman saying things she doesn't even know are wrong. It was something I would have said, maybe even did say, when I was 12. We and our characters sometimes have sharp edges. Our emotions sometimes overwhelm us into blurting out things we can't take back. It's a real challenge, both when we're writing these characters and when we're living our lives. Number three, they're intelligent. Sometimes autistic women come across as too intelligent, too self aware, too everything. I was often told that guys were intimidated by my intelligence. Well, that's their problem, I thought. I wasn't about to change who I was just so a boy would give me a second look. I think that's still true in some ways today. A woman or young woman who defies the social norms as laid out for her can seem intimidating, which can make her unlikable. But I hope that autistic characters and those of us who live as autistic people also share one more characteristic. Number 4, they're endearing. I hope, as readers get to know these characters and give them a chance, they also recognize that they're endearing. It's what I hope for myself. That readers and acquaintances will overlook all the faults and shortcomings, which I'll remind you are not faults and shortcomings really, just according to some social rules made long ago. They will see that these characters and that we have something to add to the conversation and a unique way of seeing the world that's worth exploring. I don't have any solutions for you if you're writing characters like this, or if you are a character like this. I would just say, be brave, don't bend on everything, embrace an unlikable character if the changes suggested feel untrue to you. I think we can only gain from writing unique autistic women. The more stories we have with them, the better. Thanks for listening to my Real Talk. Be sure to subscribe to my channel for videos about books and writing and more videos like this. And sign up for my newsletter at racheltolson.com for inspiration, book recommendations, news, and writing prompts. Stay strong, and see you next time.